Okay. Hi, my name is Sophia Valdez, and I'm here with Morgan Taylor. Thank you for meeting with me today. This interview should only take about 10 minutes. There are no right or wrong answers, and it's just important to us that we get your honest feedback on these questions. The session will be recorded, but will only be submitted for course purposes. And Morgan already signed the acknowledgement form. Okay, so first, I would just like to start off by getting to know like some basic facts about you. So, what year are you currently at UF?
I am a senior right now, my fourth year, but I graduated in December with my undergrad, and I am graduating again in May with my master's, both in marketing. So I'm technically a grad student, but I'm a fourth year.
Okay. And where did you live before coming to UF?
I am from Orlando, Florida, in like a small suburb outside of Orlando. It's about 2 hours away from Gainesville.
Okay, so pretty close, not too far.
Pretty close, not too far. Perfect distance, if you ask me.
Okay. And then did you live on campus in a dorm or off campus and in like an apartment for your first year?
My first year, I lived in a dorm. Do you want me to tell you what dorm I lived in?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I lived in Beatty Towers on campus, like right on 13th. And I lived on the 13th floor, which I always thought that buildings just didn't even have 13th floors, like they skipped it. But I did live on the 13th floor
Okay.
in a multi-gender, what's it called?
Like a
Um,
co-ed floor or something
yes,
like that?
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so why did you decide to live in a dorm instead of living in an apartment for your first year?
Definitely just the convenience of being on campus. Also, my mom kind of made me, but just realistically, like I didn't have my car, so being on campus and having like the ability to walk to anything I needed and get wherever I needed by foot. And yeah, it's like being in I liked being on campus because it was like a little like you were in your own little town on campus. Like
Yeah.
you everything you needed was there, grocery stores, walking distance, class was walking distance. And yeah, I definitely the convenience of it was the biggest thing.
Yeah. And then do you remember if UF gave you like any resources or help at all finding the dorms, or did you kind of figure that out on your own?
No, I feel like I did it on my own. Like I watched a lot of YouTube videos of like dorm tours, like my freshman dorm in Beatty Towers, like once I knew where I was living.
Yeah.
But before that, like the only thing I knew from or like about the dorms was from people that I knew that had gone here and would
Okay.
like tell me, oh, you should live in Jennings or whatever. Like they anything was just based on what they told me. I don't remember seeing anything from UF.
Yeah. Okay. And do you remember how many days prior to the start of class you moved in?
I think it was about within the week. I
Okay.
moved in early because of recruitment, so I'd say about a week,
Okay.
uh, give or take a few days.
Okay. So can you go into more depth, like describing how you decided on Beatty Towers, like was the where you wanted to live for your first year?
Yes. I actually didn't want to live there at all. And when we did our preferencing, I think Alexis and I, my freshman roommate, we prefed like three different dorms and then didn't get any of them. So then when it came down to the day where they give you your options, um, it was like Beatty Towers, I think Graham Hall, and one other one that I don't remember, like Reed or something. And I remember Reed was like the music. What are they called with the communities in the dorms? Like they have
Oh
like
yeah, I know
little,
what you're
you
talking
know what I'm
about.
talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know what it's called
for the
though.
music students. And I was like, all I'm picturing is music students practicing their oboes and stuff like all night. So we were like, not that. And then Graham Hall is like super far out of the way, like almost by the stadium, like back further.
Hmm.
And with like sorority stuff and just like proximity to what we needed, we didn't want to live that far away.
Yeah.
Um, so at that point, it was like purely based on location and convenience for Beatty. Which also it was a perk we decided because we got our own bathroom. It wasn't community bathrooms, so
Okay.
that played a factor. We were like, oh, this could may not be that bad.
Okay.
But yeah, that was probably the biggest. That's how I remember it.
Okay. And then you said after you found out you lived in Beta, you kind of like did research like YouTube videos and
Mhm.
stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah, YouTube videos. I'd like look on Instagram. I would just dig everywhere on social media to look at like anyone's experience and how they set up their room and like
Yeah.
what did it look like? How much room will I have? Just to see
Yeah.
how I should great and stuff.
Okay, so you said that you did have a roommate, and then I think in Beatty you also have you live with someone in one room, but then you have two other people. How did you find the person you lived with in the same room? And then how did you find like the other group of people that you lived with?
Yes, so Alexis was my roommate, my actual roommate, and I met her through mutual friends in high school. We went to like rival high schools, so we had a bunch of friends from home that set us up and told us we should live together. And we met once, and then we were both like, "Yep, sounds good.
Mhm.
We'll live together." And then the suite mate portion was completely random. The day
Okay.
we got our room assignment, it was like, hey, you're living in 1305 and these are the two girls you're going to be living with, and they were our suite mates. So we had no say in that at all.
Okay.
But I think that would have been nice to if they had something to pref that, you know?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm sure you probably set expectations for what like your first year, especially living in a dorm. I feel like there's a lot of like kind of like a not like an experience that you're expecting. Obviously, COVID kind of cut our freshman year short, but
Yes.
I guess like freshman fall, do you think that living in the dorm and just your first year at UF like met the expectations that you set?
I would say so. I think having a good roommate, like I ended up hitting it off with Alexis, obviously, and I think that really like made it. I was a little worried my expectations, like obviously I had the expectation of the convenience, but I was worried that the dorm experience as a whole would have been horrible. But having good roommates and just like once I got in a routine, I feel like it ended up being like it was good and I really liked it. And I still now, what, 3 years later, sometimes I'm just like, I just want to go back to my dorm in Beatty Towers.
Yeah.
I miss it. I do. But yeah, I would say it met my expectations for sure. And having good roommates and suite mates helped a lot.
Okay. Okay, so that's pretty much all the questions I have. Is there anything you would like to add or any questions you wish I had asked just about UF housing or like first year at UF, anything? If not, is it
Um, um, did um did you live in a dorm?
I did live in a dorm as well.
Did you live in you lived in a triple, right?
Yeah, I lived in a triple.
Was
It's
yours
definitely
were yours
interesting.
random?
One of mine was a mutual friend, kind of like you, and then the third one was random. And ours was we weren't originally supposed to live in a triple, but because of like the convenience of Broward and like its location on campus, that's why we decided to do a triple in order to live in Broward.
I think they should ban triples on campus, personally. That
Yeah,
sounds
it was too many people in one space for sure.
I agree. All
Okay, I
right.
think we're good.
Good.
Thank you, Morgan.
Of course. I'll go grab Lauren. I wasn't